Hey y'all, Jamie here. Proud 55-year-old trans woman from New Orleans. So, where last I left off, my little sister Deanne had called the police on my mother in outside of Dallas, Texas, and had my mother arrested at work. Yeah, in broad daylight. My mother was the manager of 6 carpet stores in Texas at the time, and she was at one of them when they located her and they arrested her there at work. Brought her to the station for questioning. They had lots of cop cars at our apartment with me and my sisters being interviewed in the apartment, to find out our side of the story and so on and so forth. Now, how my mother got out of jail, to this day, I really don't know. I have a feeling it was the other guy that managed the carpet stores with her named Jack. His name was Jack. I almost said his whole name. His name was Jack. And, Jack had a thing for my mother, so I have a feeling maybe he got her out. I don't know. But she showed up at the apartment, and the police left us there with her. They actually fucking left us there with her. Furious. Absolutely. Like, she wasn't even trying to disguise that she was furious. She was fucking furious. And they left 3 little kids there with her. So she went off. Yeah. She said, "Oh, you want to call somebody a beater? You want to call me a child abuser? You want to have me arrested at work? You hate me that fucking much." Okay. She picked up her high heel, her favorite high heel, and she just started tearing at us all over the bedroom. Me and my sisters were just all over the bedroom. She was just swinging. And after she wore herself out for a little bit, my mother made a couple of phone calls in the other room. Then she came back and she told my sisters, "Since y'all fucking hate me so much, I'll let you go back to your precious foster family in Louisiana. Get your shit." There was no time to adjust to this idea. No, are we being rash here? Could we be maybe overreacting just a scotch? No, no. We went to the airport that same evening. That same evening, we were at the airport in Dallas. And my mother put them on a plane back to Louisiana. She put my little sisters back on that plane to Louisiana, and those were in the days way pre 9/11, and you could still go to the gate with people to see them off and stuff. And so I watched my sisters walk down the gangplank to the jetway to the gangplank. Listen to me. Ooh, bad. Ooh, that was a Freudian slip. I watched them walk down the jetway to the aircraft, and they got on. And my mother turned around, and I'll never forget, she looked at me there at the gate. And I just had this horror stricken look on my face, right? And she looked at me and she said, "Just hope you don't hate me too much." And then she walked out of the airport, expecting me to follow after her, obviously. She walked out of the airport. Yeah. And so I immediately, in the next few days, I came home from school. And, when I got home from school, my mother had taken all of our shit, even my English racer, bicycle that my dad had gotten me, all of my stuff that my father had bought me, clothes, posters, you name it, all kinds of stuff, just everything that belonged to my sisters, everything that belonged to them, and had given it to her boyfriend's mother. Owned some thrift stores in the area. She had donated our shit to a thrift store, including my bicycle from my dad, which was not old. And, I started acting out a lot, and I started partying a lot, and I got caught skipping school with 2 other boys, right? We got caught skipping school, and so their mothers decided to get my mom in on it and have a little sit down powwow with us kids. And I had gotten into my mom's Valiums, yeah, out of her medicine cabinet. I had taken her Valiums. We were drinking, all of that. And so the mothers sit us all down and they start asking a bunch of questions. And then one of the mothers asks, it was two little boys that I got in trouble with. And she asked her son, are you a virgin? And so he was like, well, yeah. I mean, we were like seventh grade. Yeah. And he said, yeah. And so the next lady looked at her child and said, are you a virgin? And my mother said, well, you don't even need to ask mine. She said, I can tell you now. Mine's not a virgin. And oh, by the way, he's also a fag. I jumped up and I said, you bitch. That was all I said. You bitch. 2 words. And I ran out of the apartment. And we were at one of their apartments. I ran out of the apartment and I ran home. Well, her boyfriend came to pick me up for school the next day. He had come up from Houston. Apparently, she had called him and told him what had happened. He came up from Houston and he said, come on, I'm taking you to school today. He said, but we got someplace to stop first. He took me to a barber shop where he forced me to let them shave my head for calling my mom a bitch. He forced me to sit there and get my head shaved. And if y'all want to know what happens next, y'all know the routine. Be here tomorrow and I will too. I love you all. I love you all for watching and I love you for the comments. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.